hearts alive, firestorms when they strike. You feel the love, sparks will fly.
What is the deal, beautiful people? It's your boy Ramon. This is Lifestyles Defined. Welcome back to another episode of Aperture, where we focus on things photography. So we got a Q&A or an AMA question a while back about doing some tips and tricks on mobile photography, and I held on to it for a while and decided it's a perfect opportunity to repurpose it under the Aperture episode. So here we are. Now, what does mobile photography mean to me? It means a lot, actually. You hear that cliche that the best camera is the camera that you have on you. I don't know what the fuck that means. I walk around with 3 cameras on any given day, so it's got some truth to it, right? The best camera is probably one I can actually pull out quickest to capture the moment. I was just clowning around. It is a pretty true cliche, and more often than not, our cell phones are going to be that. And these things have accelerated like wildfire in terms of the capabilities and the control of the cameras on the phone that we have. I mean, it's insane. And you know what's crazy, when Apple, who once led the charge, isn't even the king anymore. You got something like Lumia, who came in swinging with the 1020, and they had this 42 megapixel camera with lossless zoom and all type of craziness. And then they had it for a while, then they lost it. Now you're looking at LG, and LG's killing it. So I quite like the politics and the madness going on behind the scenes, because they're pushing each other, and each iteration you see better, right? Like when Microsoft came out with the Lumia 1020, the iPhone was king of the hill, and it was just sheer quality, and nothing else matched that quality. And then Lumia came out with the crazy dynamic range and crazy features, and then they got leapfrogged by LG in terms of quality again. But LG maintain a lot of that manual control, or the introduction of the concept that you should have manual control of the camera on your phone. So there's a lot going on. This is a very serious industry. I mean, the camera is usually the number 1 selling thing on smartphones, or at least the number 2, depending on who you talk to. And if you go on any social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and you search for the hashtag mobile photography, iPhone only, Android only, you see these wild images, and it's just so dope, right? That you can capture the moment with a good enough image that you can just hold on to for years. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. I personally have stepped out of the mobile photography for some time. I bought a Sony NEX 5T. I was shooting with that for a while. Then I upgraded to a A7 Mark II, and that's pretty much what I shoot with. Because as I grew into the photography and I became more technical, I wanted more control. I wanted the real deal. But there's still a fondness in my heart for mobile photography. So let's talk about the tips. One of my first tips is to get close. Now, there's such a thing called bokeh. Bokeh is this effect where the camera blurs out the background, because what is in the foreground in front of it has a very pronounced presence. So everything in the background takes the view. So if you look now at this camera, right, whatever's behind me is probably blurred out. You probably can't see much. So let me see if it'll focus on my finger and really show you what bokeh is. Is it focusing? I can't tell. I got the lens hood on. It should be focusing. So now it's focused on my finger, my face, my hat, everything should be a little less blurred out. And now here it comes back in. So that effect is called bokeh. And you can achieve that relatively easy on a camera with a zoom lens. Now, on your phone, you don't have a zoom lens. So my advice to really recreate that look, that stature of whatever you're shooting, is to get close to your subjects. And this goes hand in hand with an old photography or composition trick. Get on the same level as your subject, right? If you're shooting a car, get down low. Now, don't just stand there and get down low, because it makes it seem so much larger than life. It gives it a powerful stance. So get close, get down low, and you'll be amazed at the pictures that you get. Get some wild angles. One of the things about a phone, right? A phone is I can get this thing in some nooks and crannies that I can't get my huge ass mirrorless SLR, right? So you should take advantage of that. When you get down low and you angle it up to the street, and you really get the entire building for street photography. These phones excel at that, because the lens that's in here, they never say what it is, but if I had to guess, I'd say it'd be like a 12mm lens, and that's a wide angle, and that's something that you really appreciate, because you're able to capture a lot of the scene and tell a lot of the story. So get the wild angles, and one of the tricks I've learned is sometimes you can't get, like you're shooting a street shot and you get down and you're like, damn, it's not as pronounced as I want. Flip it. Turn that camera upside down. Turn it to the right, turn it to the left. Get some crazy angles. I think a lot of people don't realize just how flexible you are with just your phone, and it's such a beautiful thing. And if you pay attention to a lot of these premier mobile photographers, they do a lot of it, man. They're geniuses with the angle. Get a microfiber cloth. So one of the things that I used to struggle with on the 1020 is, I'd be holding the phone and you take it out of your pocket and there's smudge all over the lens. I started to walk with a bunch of these microfiber cloths. I needed them, right? And you just wipe the lens clean, because especially in low light conditions, that smudge will make your image look like shite. It'll be blurry, it'll be crappy. The camera has a hard time focusing because it doesn't know where it should be looking, because there's something in the immediate foreground, and it's just keep your lens clean. One thing I have appreciated with a lot of the newer lenses, the lenses on the newer phones, is they get a lot less smudges on them for some reason. I don't know if it's just me being cognizant of the issue and not touching the back of the thing, but I find that the lens on my S6 Edge Plus is not as dirty as, say, my 1520. Definitely not as dirty as the 1020. That thing was the worst. The raw functionality, and this is something that not all phones offer. This is something you won't find on an iPhone. You won't find on some Android phones. The LG support the RAW function. The Samsung support the RAW function. And of course, the Lumia support RAW. So what is RAW? RAW is it's an uncompressed photo format which retains a lot more data than JPEG. And when you want to get serious about editing your work, you can put that RAW file on your computer and import it into Photoshop or Lightroom and really start to make some aggressive adjustments that really pop the image, and you can correct a lot of the issues with the camera in post. So when you can, shoot RAW. The thing about RAW though is the files are huge. So I think on my S6 Edge Plus, a JPEG would be around, 4 or 5 megs, whereas the RAW image would be like 16 or 17 megs. And on my A7 Mark II, a RAW file is about 26 megs. So there's some huge files. So you better make sure you got the space, which leads me to another tip. Get a cloud subscription. Man, I'm a huge fan of OneDrive. I really loved when Microsoft made OneDrive available on all platforms. So I've got it on my Windows phone, my Android phone, and I've got it on my iPhone. So when I take a picture from whatever phone, it gets uploaded to the same camera roll folder. And what's really neat about that is I will never lose another picture. And I'm very adamant about protecting my work, right? Like, I don't care about the hardware. We pay insurance on these phones. It falls in a river, it falls over the boat, it gets ran over by a train, I don't care. what's important for me is when I take that picture to have the ability to have it automatically, instantaneously go up to the cloud where I know it's safe and I can get to it when I get home. So yeah, get you a cloud subscription. OneDrive is the cheapest, even with the scumbag shit that Microsoft did the other day, followed by Google, and then of course there's Apple. For you iPhones out there, you iFans, you can get that. The next tip is to remember that the perfect shot is not the perfect shot. So what this means is today people are obsessed with everything has to be perfectly exposed, or the composition has to be perfect. Nothing is slanted left or right, or everything has to be in perfect focus. You know, the thing about photography that makes it dope, and what I've learned is a lot of my favorite pictures that I've seen from various photographers aren't always the perfect picture, technically speaking, but it's about capturing the moment and relaying the message to the viewer as if they were there. Is that what you call someone that looks at photography? Viewers? Huh. So don't obsess over the small things. And I think part of what makes mobile photography so potent is that you have the ability to pull out your camera and your phone and get it a lot quicker than you would to reach in a bag and pull out a camera. My next tip there would be to just take a crap load of pictures, is to keep snapping. It's so easy. This is digital, and the phones are arguably faster than some of the real cameras. Just keep snapping. Snap multiple angles, come around the subject, recompose, go left, go right, go down, go up, come closer, go farther. Just snap multiple angles until you get home, and then you look through and say, okay, which one do I like the best? And you attack it that way. It costs you nothing besides storage, which is why it's important to get that cloud subscription, right? And the last tip I would have, I want everyone to know, is to adjust your expectations. You know, on Instagram, you get into this thing with mobile photography where your pictures look really good, and the apps you edit them, Snapfeed and Lightroom and whatever built-in apps you have, and then you get on Facebook and they look like crap. You know, well, Facebook kills your pictures anyway, but you got to know that the sensor that is taking the images on your phone is about this small. It'll never look as glorious as a real camera when you do the actual size, or even if you go to try to print it. But as long as you know that, you'll be okay, right? Adjust your expectations. These things aren't real cameras. They aren't meant for you to be printing out posters. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, just find some dope apps to really make your stuff pop and sell your vision some more. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your comments below. Chime in with any tips that you found throughout the way, and always provide some feedback. Let me know how you like the series. Let me know if you want to see something else, any other questions in photography, you want me to review something, you want to do a photo challenge. Let me know. It's your boy Ramon. I'm out of here. Peace.